The world always wounds the weakest first. And those wounds often come wrapped in the name of family. 69-year-old Han Jung-suk lived a quiet and ordinary life. After losing her husband, she spent her days alone, until the daughter-in-law she trusted, Choi Na-rin, began calling her nothing more than an old burden ruining her son's life. No one knew. No one imagined that this humble elderly woman had spent 20 years in the Secretariat of the High Court, recording the deepest shadows and corruption of the judicial world. What her daughter-in-law tried to bury under lies and cruelty would soon explode into one of the biggest scandals to ever shake the legal system. And the world would witness how the quiet anger of one mother brought down the corruption of powerful elites. This is not a story of a helpless mother-in-law. This is the story of a mother who chose justice, and a record of her revenge and rebirth, having nothing of value and being nothing, but a burden to my son's life. That's what my daughter-in-law, Choi, Na-rin shouted as she slapped me across the face. She called me an ungrateful old woman from the countryside who dared to defile a sacred place. In front of my son and the in-laws, I knelt on the floor as she struck my cheek. But Na-rin didn't know. She didn't know that I had worked 20 years in the Secretariat of the High Court, and that I understood every corruption and secret within the legal world, like the palm of my hand. Before we begin, please subscribe and like. Your small support means a great deal to us. Always stay healthy and happy. Hello, my name is Han Jung-suk, and I am 69 years old. That day was just an ordinary morning. In a small apartment on the outskirts of Seoul, 5 years had already passed since my husband passed away, and the empty side of the bed was still cold. I walked into the kitchen, drank a glass of water, and looked out the window. The autumn sunlight was warm, but my heart was as cold as ice. On the table lay the envelope my daughter-in-law had thrown down a few days earlier. Inside was just 200,000 won, barely enough for hospital fees and medicine. My son Han Sung-woo had passed the bar exam and become a judge. He had been smart ever since he was young. My one and only pride. My husband and I had saved and struggled all our lives to support him. Tuition, academies, tutors. Anything he needed, we provided. When my son became a judge, I felt like I could fly, but that joy didn't last long. Everything began to change after he married Choi Na-rin, a lawyer from a wealthy and powerful family. Her father owned a major law firm. She was a true gold spoon. From the first moment, she couldn't even hide her unwillingness to accept me. Mother, the economy is tough these days. Please understand. She said that while sending luxury supplements and expensive health foods to her own parents. The most painful thing was that I wasn't allowed to see my grandson without permission. Mother, Do-yoon's schedule is full. Please contact us in advance. Please go through the secretary. To see my own grandchild, I needed approval, like some outsider. One day she called again. Her voice was cold and businesslike, as always. Mother, are you well? Do-yoon is busy with academies. We'll show him to you when we have time. Just as she hung up, I heard her talking to my son behind her. I'm really going crazy because of that old woman. If she weren't your mother, I would have already thrown her into a nursing home. My son quietly replied, Na-rin, still, she's my mom. Shut up. You think you're a judge because you're talented? If it weren't for my dad, you'd still be… He fell silent, completely dominated. If my husband were alive, none of this would have happened. I wondered if I really deserved to be treated like this. A few days later, Na-rin suddenly suggested a family meeting. Both families would gather. She said, I thought maybe, just maybe, she had changed her mind. But I was wrong. She had planned everything to bury me completely. When I arrived at their luxury Gangnam apartment, the in-laws were already there. The air was heavy and uncomfortable. Na-rin began with a serious expression. We're here to discuss Mother's health problem. She has been repeating the same things and says she sees people who aren't there. The specialist suspects early dementia. I was speechless. Na-rin, what are you talking about? When did I ever… When I raised my voice in shock, she immediately looked toward the in-laws and said, see, sudden emotional outbursts. It's a typical symptom. They nodded in agreement. Yes, a professional facility would be safest. I burst into tears. They were trying to make a healthy person look like a mental patient. You're all conspiring against me. I don't have dementia. Then Na-rin leaned close to my ear and whispered, a useless old woman with nothing, daring to cling to my husband's life. And then, smack. She slapped me so hard my glasses flew to the floor. You pathetic countryside hag. Who do you think you are to enter a sacred space? My son, the in-laws, even little Do-yoon. They all watched. No one stopped her. That night, I returned home and cried all night long. I touched my swollen cheek and thought, I can't let this continue. I will take revenge. Then I remembered the box my late husband had left behind. Inside was my High Court Secretariat ID from 20 years ago, and more importantly, a black leather notebook. In it were the names of influential people in politics and business, and the corruption connected to them, all recorded by me over 20 years. I wrote a new name on the last page, Choi Narin Devil in judicial robes. The next morning, I made a decision. I would no longer live as a powerless mother-in-law. She thought I was a clueless countrywoman, but I was someone who knew the entire underworld of the legal system. I had connections and information built over 2 decades, and now it was time to use them. Being insulted as someone who has nothing and is only a burden to my son's life. Those words echoed in my mind as I realized that the records I had kept were finally going to shine. I began investigating my daughter-in-law, Choi Narin. She claimed to be a lawyer at a law firm, but the firm her father ran was far from clean. My leather notebook already contained various suspicions related to that law firm. Trial manipulation, judge bribery, evidence destruction. Every detail was written down. Narin looked down on me, but the truth was that the filth was on their side, not mine. I flipped through my old contacts for the first time in years. Many of the people I had once worked with had since risen to very high positions. Among them, the person who immediately came to mind was prosecutor Cho Dae-young. I had helped him years ago, when he was falsely accused and nearly ruined. Thanks to the crucial evidence I provided at that time, he survived that crisis and now served as a major prosecutor in the Special Crimes Division. My hands trembled as I dialed his number. Even after all those years, he remembered me immediately. Mrs. Han Young-suk, it's been so long. How have you been? His voice was warm. I cautiously asked for help. Prosecutor Cho, I'm in some trouble. Could you help me? Of course. You once helped me. Now it's my turn to help you. On the day we met, I brought my black notebook with me to the cafe. Sitting across from me, Cho Tae-young looked stronger and more reliable than ever. I explained everything Narin had done to me, step by step. Then I opened the notebook. His eyes sharpened instantly. Madam Han, this is serious. We've already had our eyes on Narin and her father's law firm. He continued. Recently, there was a suspicious verdict in a construction-related case, and the attorney for that case was none other than Choi Narin. There is also evidence of bribery. With the information you've given us, we can finally begin a full investigation. I let out a deep sigh of relief. At last, our counterattack had begun. A few days later, something unexpected happened. Narin suddenly came to my house. Her usual arrogance had vanished, replaced by anxiety. Mother, have you been meeting strange people lately? I pretended not to know anything. What are you talking about? Who would I meet? Her eyes turned cold and sharp. Mother, if you touch me, Sungwoo will be finished too. Do you understand? She continued threatening me. Don't think you know nothing. Do you think Sungwoo became a judge on his own? My father helped him. And if that becomes public, your son will lose everything. I was shocked. Was my son's appointment as a judge also tainted? But it was too late to turn back. The arrow had already left the bowstring. That night, my son Han Sungwoo called. Mom Narin said some weird things. Are you doing something behind our backs? His tone carried more irritation than concern. I calmly asked, Sungwoo, let me ask you something. Tell me the truth. Did you really become a judge fairly? There was silence. What do you mean? Of course I did, Mom. But his voice trembled. I knew instantly. He was lying. My heart shattered. My son, whom I had been proud of my entire life, had become a judge, thanks to corruption. Still, I refused to stop. It was too late anyway. Narin's cruelty had to be punished. Then Prosecutor Cho called again. Madam Han, the investigation has begun. We detected suspicious transactions in Narin's bank accounts. Large sums of money were transferred from a construction company. And then another bombshell. We also found evidence that her father, the head of the law firm, has been colluding with senior officials in the court administration office. My emotions were tangled. My son could be dragged into this as well. But the law should be equal for all. That is the lesson I learned during my 20 years in the High Court Secretariat. 2-1. Soon afterward, the media exploded with the story. Suspicion of bribery by active lawyer. Major law firm tied to trial manipulation. Daughter-in-law's plot to destroy her mother-in-law. Narin and her father's names were plastered across the news. Narin stormed into my house, furious and frantic. This is your doing, isn't it? You're trying to destroy our family. Her face was pale, her eyes bloodshot. I answered calmly. I only revealed the truth. It's your own actions that ruined everything. She clenched her teeth. Fine. Then I'll destroy Sungwoo too. I'll tell everyone how he became a judge, I said quietly. Go ahead. The law is equal for everyone. That evening, my son came to my house in tears. Mom, what are you doing? My life could be ruined. His eyes were full of fear and resentment. I looked straight at him and said, Sungwoo, if you gained your position through unjust means, then stepping down is the right thing. That is the last piece of wisdom I can give you as your mother. He fell to the floor, crying. Mom, I didn't know. I really didn't know father-in-law had done that. I studied hard. I tried. Seeing my son cry tore my heart, but there was no turning back now. As the investigation proceeded, more and more crimes committed by Naren surfaced. Large bribes, trial manipulation, evidence destruction, even involvement in other dirty cases. To her, law was nothing more than a way to make money. Then Cho Tae-young called again. Madam Han, we have applied for an arrest warrant for Choi Na-rin. The evidence is overwhelming. There is no chance of rejection. As for Judge Han Sung-woo, we found no proof he directly committed a crime. It seems he merely benefited from his father-in-law and was pressured into silence. He is more of a victim. Relief and sorrow washed over me at once. My son wasn't corrupt himself, but he didn't earn his position cleanly either. On the day Nareen was arrested, I stood outside the courthouse. She was escorted with handcuffs, looking miserable and broken. A far cry from the arrogant woman she had been. She gave me a hateful glare, but I felt nothing. She was simply reaping what she had sown. The media continued to praise the case. Fall of a wealthy lawyer. Corruption in the legal world exposed. Courage of a mother who stood alone. People began calling me a hero, but I wasn't. I only did what was right. I only upheld the truth, that the law must apply equally to all. The media reported the case day after day. The reality of corruption in the legal world, the collapse of a giant law firm, and the courage of one mother-in-law, countless headlines filled the news. People came to ask for interviews, but I refused them all. I had no desire to be a hero. I had simply wanted to restore justice. Soon after, my son Han Sung-woo came to see me. He was nothing like before. The arrogance he once had was gone, and his face was worn and exhausted. Mom, I'm so sorry. I was too weak. I gave in to Nareen's threats and couldn't protect you. He fell to his knees and cried, the first sincere apology I had ever heard from him. Sungwoo, it's over now. I know you were also a victim. I helped him stand and said, but from now on, you must live honestly. Even if you lose your position as a judge, what matters is living with dignity. He nodded firmly. Even if I lose my judgeship, I'll live as an honest legal professional. The trial began. Choi Na-rin, her father, and the executives of the law firm all stood in the defendant's seat. The courtroom was packed. I appeared as a witness. On the stand, I calmly spoke the truth. The prosecutor asked, what kind of treatment did you receive from the defendant, Choi Na-rin? I answered. She called me a pathetic countryside old woman, slapped me in front of the in-laws, and tried to label me as a dementia patient, to send me to a nursing facility. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Gasps spread through the audience. Narin's lawyer began cross-examination. Do you have any evidence to support your claims? I submitted the audio recordings I had prepared. Narin's voice, mocking, insulting, threatening me, played clearly in the courtroom. Having nothing, being nothing but a burden to your son. The moment the recording echoed, the courtroom fell into shock. As the trial progressed, more and more of Narin's crimes surfaced. Bribes from construction companies, trial manipulation, evidence destruction, subornation of perjury. Everything was proven. Even more shocking was the testimony that Narin had abused other mothers-in-law in the same way. One former client's mother-in-law had suffered similar mistreatment. Young lawyer Kim Jun-young also testified. Attorney Choi Na-rin was abusive even inside the office. She looked down on anyone weaker than herself, and she treated elderly clients especially poorly. His testimony further exposed her character. Then came the prosecutor's final argument. Defendant Choi Na-rin has completely betrayed the ethics of the legal profession. The person who should protect the law manipulated it. The one who should protect the weak abused them. Her attempt to portray her own mother-in-law as a mental patient and socially destroy her is an unforgivable act of moral corruption. He raised his voice. This is not a simple family dispute. It is an abuse of power, a criminal act. For the sake of justice, severe punishment is necessary. He demanded 15 years in prison for Nareen. The courtroom buzzed. Her father also faced severe punishment for decades of corruption and for enabling his daughter's crimes. As the trial was ending, Nareen suddenly jumped up and screamed, "It's all that old woman's fault. She destroyed our family. The judge responded coldly. "Defendant, be silent. You cannot shift responsibility for your crime onto others." Naren collapsed into tears, pitiful but entirely her own doing. The judge read the verdict. Defendant Choi Naren used her position to falsely portray her mother-in-law as mentally ill and even assaulted her in public. This constitutes clear elder abuse and a severe violation of human rights. Furthermore, her acceptance of large sums of bribes and manipulation of trials strike at the very foundation of judicial fairness. Severe punishment is unavoidable. Her father was sentenced to 7 years in prison. The law firm was ordered closed. All related individuals were punished. A law firm that once dominated the legal world collapsed in a single day. The case became a major milestone in the history of the judiciary. After the verdict, I walked out of the courtroom and let out a deep breath. The sky was clear, just like my heart for the first time in a long time. But soon, even more shocking truths emerged. Prosecutor Cho visited me. "Mrs. Han, during the investigation, we discovered even larger corruption. The law firm run by Naren's father was systematically bribing judges. Dozens of active judges are on the list." I opened my notebook. Many names I had written 20 years ago matched the current list. The chain of corruption had continued for decades. My notebook was adopted as a key piece of evidence by the prosecution. A few days later, my son Sung-woo came again. He held a resignation letter. "Mom, I've decided to resign as a judge. Even if I didn't commit a crime myself, my position wasn't earned cleanly." For the first time, he spoke with sincerity. I supported his decision. He said, "I'm truly sorry. I couldn't protect you. I ignored your pain. From now on, I want to open a small law office and help people who have no one to defend them." For the first time in years, I felt hope. My son was finally choosing the right path. Later, my grandson Do-yoon visited me. He held my hand tightly and said, "Grandma, I know Mom did bad things. She was mean to you. I'm on your side." His innocent words warmed my heart. After the trial, the media continued to cover the story. A TV station requested an interview. I refused at first, but then agreed to give courage to other elderly victims. During the interview, I said, "Being old doesn't mean we deserve to be mistreated. We have dignity and rights as human beings. Before the law, there are no exceptions. Not for daughters-in-law, not for sons." After the broadcast, I received countless calls from elderly people suffering similar abuse. I decided, my pain will not be wasted. I will protect others like me. So I created a citizens organization to defend elderly rights and began offering free legal consultations. My son joined with his law license. Prosecutor Cho supported us strongly, forming a special task force for elder abuse cases and working closely with us. "Mrs. Han, thanks to you, the legal world is changing." Indeed, punishment for elder abuse increased, and reports rose as well. Attorney Kim Jun-young joined us too. "I lived in guilt for so long. I want to repay it by protecting the elderly now." Thanks to him, many elderly victims finally received real help. One day, an unexpected message arrived. Naren, now in prison, requested a meeting. At first, I refused, but decided to see her once. Behind the glass, she was completely changed, her glamorous appearance gone, leaving only a tired, hollow face. "Mother, I'm so sorry. I was foolish, blinded by money and power. I forgot how to be human." Tears filled her eyes. But I said, "Apologizing now won't change anything. You are simply paying for what you did." Leaving the visitation room, I felt complicated. I could not forgive her, but I still felt a sadness for her ruined life. But it was her choice, her responsibility. I decided not to dwell on the past anymore. Time passed, and a year went by. Our organization grew into a nationwide movement, helping hundreds of elderly people. The government even gave us an official commendation. Most importantly, my relationship with my son was completely restored. Sung-woo had finally become a true son, loving and respecting me sincerely. My grandson Do-yoon grew healthy and bright. Every week he visited me, spending time and sharing stories. "Grandma, when I grow up, I want to be a good person like you." His words made me smile. After all the pain, everything finally returned to its rightful place. Now, I am truly happy.